Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
Single best idea, and the heart and soul of what we do is the guests. And within the crushing schedule of the guests, the technology, getting them in studio, in hotel rooms around the world, whatever, they got to want to come on. And we are so humbled that our guests around different news events really want to come on. To get Claudia Sahm on Jobs Day is a big deal. So what do we do with technology? Back to back, Dan Ives and Gene Munster with us. Don't forget Mandeep Singh at Bloomberg Intelligence, among other worthies. But today was wonderful. Dan Ives of Wedbush Securities, retail loves Mag 7, institutional less so.
Retail stuck with it, institutional. They've hit the exit. And I think they got, they've got scared out a lot of the Mag 7, a lot of tech. And now, guess what's going to happen over the coming weeks? They're going to have to double down. And I think that's why I think the run here that we can see in tech over the next 3-4 weeks, especially as we go through this, I think could be massive because it's under-owned institutionally because of all the fears. Paul talked about the stock being up 9-10% in terms of Microsoft. There was a view that they were going to miss Azure. They absolutely, I mean, this is an Aaron Judge-like performance.
Dan Ives, I didn't know who Aaron Judge was. I had to ask Paul who that was. Dan Ives there with Wedbush on a better than good performance by Microsoft, and I should mention Facebook as well. On we go to Apple and Amazon. Gene Munster joined from Deepwater. And, every once in a while, particularly with the generous length of time we get to speak to our guests, I can ask something more philosophical. And to me, the immense mystery here of Apple Computer is people really don't know what made Tim Cook. Gene Munster on the expert on supply chain, Timothy Cook.
There is 100% confidence in Tim Cook's ability to make the best out of an extremely difficult situation. But even his magical ability to increase gross margins by using better manufacturing over the last decade, even that power is small relative to the forces of what these tariffs could mean. And I'll just kind of put some briefly into context.
Please.
My sense is that these tariffs, when it comes to Apple, there's still mixed messages coming out of the White House in terms of how Apple is going to be impacted by that. My sense is that they're probably going to shake out somewhere between a 10 and 20% tariff. And if that, in fact, ends up being the case, even with Cook's masterful use of the supply chain, they're probably going to see some diminishing of gross margins. And it probably goes from, call it 40-ish%, 41%. They're probably going to lose a couple percent on that, call it 39. And so it's a step back. But I just want to put some context. When we hear about all this, the forces that Tim Cook, the levers that he can pull, there are some limitations to it. And that's why I think that I just applaud Dan Ives and him standing up and saying, we got to get this thing figured out. And what figured it out means is just some clarity. And ultimately, I think that that clarity is going to be 20%, and it's going to be a little bit of an impact. Again, doesn't change the long-term trajectory of the business, but it's something that investors are focused.
Gene Munster there of Deepwater Asset Management. On to Jobs Day tomorrow. Really looking forward to the coverage. A wonderful set of worthies to help us with the mystery of this trade war. Across the nation in your commute, major shout out to Google, Alphabet, and their Android Auto. I am briefed that they're coming out with all sorts of new spectacular technology to drive that modern digital experience forward. On our podcast, we're out on YouTube Podcasts, Single Best Idea.